Good evening and welcome to the FITT Show, financial information for today and tomorrow. I'm Bobby P. Kinzer,
And I'm Thomas Doty.
and we are the FITT Show, helping our people get their finances in shape. So, welcome everybody around the world, and we literally mean around the world in England, Scotland, Holland, Australia, California, DC, Cleveland, Charlotte. We just like to welcome everybody and thank you for attending our show. We guarantee we plan to give you as much good information that you can use because the stuff we got is some real good information. So, I want to remind everybody if you can please share your Facebook Live with other people and also subscribe if you're on YouTube and share in YouTube. And remember, please click on the button, the thumbs up button, as many times as you can, and the heart button, because that opens us up to more people. That's how the algorithms work with Facebook. And the more comments you put in, that even just multiplies the amount of people, even more so than just the thumbs up button. So, but just don't use the comment button, comment box to do that. We're also looking for your comments, statements, ideas, and questions. So please feel free to chime in. Really, 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 really appreciate you doing that. So, dope.
Hey,
Let's kick off with our top of the show main subject that a lot of people like listening to is the stock market update.
it's been just extremely volatile as it has been for most of this year, and it's this time we had more good than bad. A little hiccups in it. There we go. Okay. As you can see, the Dow was up 1,700 points in the last week. There's been a lot of positive news, and what you're seeing, a lot of the institutional investors are cutting back. When I say cutting back, they're raising more cash as opposed to investing in equities. But it seems as though the individual investors are not totally bailing on the stock market. And so that's good in some ways, maybe bad in some ways, but you're seeing the levels of cash being less, dropping less than they have in previous volatile times. So what that says is that a lot of people still have confidence in what the market's doing. Because the NASDAQ's pretty flat for the last week. It's up about 779 points, or almost 2%. Microsoft, in the stocks I hold, took a big hit, not today, but yesterday. And it's kind of interesting, the reason why. Typically, when the company announces earnings and earnings beats the estimate, which is what Wall Street thinks the numbers they are going to be, usually the stock does well. But Microsoft actually beat the numbers. Their earnings number, they came in at $235 per share, and the analysts had expected them to be at $230. Revenue came in at $50 billion, and the analysts had expected $49.6 billion. But where Microsoft fell was in their guidance. They typically give an estimate of what they expect from the next quarter or the coming quarter. And Microsoft kind of estimated their revenue to be somewhere between 52 billion and 53 billion in the next quarter, where the analysts were looking for something like 56 billion. And it's funny because I was involved a little bit with this in my job, and you pretty much estimate, how much you as a company expect to make in the next quarter. And amazingly, I mean, you talk about numbers this big and as many different revenue streams as Microsoft has, you can see how this could be a pretty difficult estimate. But that's where they fail, and they dropped about 6% on Wednesday because their guidance numbers are lower than was expected by all the analysts. Okay, Tesla kind of recovered some of what they lost a week before. It's up 18 points or almost 9%. Apple is up 2 points, a little over 1.4%. And Pfizer is up about 7%. And so you expect Pfizer to go up as the Dow is going up. Apple has some noise going on after hours with their earnings. So we'll see how that looks in the next few days. But all in all, things are, even though they're still volatile, there's still a lot of up and down, things aren't getting much worse, which is always good.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a good thing. So let's talk about the cryptocurrency, Dope, and got some good news, man. Believe it or not, um, it's unbelievable, man. The cryptocurrency, like we always start off with the total market cap of over 18,000 cryptocurrency. The actual last week, the market cap was at 947 billion. It's up to 1 trillion. That's a $53 billion increase. And last week, the Bitcoin was at $19,024. Today, as of 7 p.m., it was at $20,321. That's a $1,297 increase per Bitcoin. Now, it's actually down for today, but compared to last week, like I said, it's up over $1,000. And this Bitcoin is still number one in all the cryptocurrencies, ranked number one. The market cap last week was at 365 billion. Today it was at 390 billion. That's a $25 billion increase. So it looked like people are getting back into the Bitcoin cryptocurrency, Dope, because like we said in the past, a lot of people were jumping out. Well, a lot of those people who got in early was taking all their earnings, and the whales, which are the big investors, were taking a lot of their profits. But the way it looks like they started to jump back in. That's why we say it's the long play. Shiba Inu was at last week 0.00000. That's 509. Today that's up at 0.000. That's 4 zeros, 1. And that's interesting because the market cap last week was at 5.8 billion. It's up to 6.3 billion. So people are jumping back into Shiba Inu. Now, last week it was ranked 13. 2 weeks before that, it was ranked 12th. Today it's ranked down to 14th. And check this out, though. I don't know what's going on with the Dogecoin. That's the Elon Musk guy who was involved with that. Last week it was at 5 cents, up to 7 cents. So it's actually up today 9%.
Wow.
You know, I don't know what's going on with the Dogecoin. And last week, the market cap was at 8.1 billion. It's up to 10.7 billion. That's a $2.6 billion increase of people getting into. So I don't know what's going on with the Dogecoin, but something's happening. But that's the cryptocurrency market, though. Look like it's trying to take a turn. Wishing you well, whoever's involved. Remember, it's highly speculative. So if you're in it, make sure you got money that you can stand if you lose. That's all we say. So, Dope, last week we talked about the stock market after the downturns, you know, what to look for, what to see, how it's performed over a history of years and the downturn of the market. Today, we want to talk about a subject, man, that a lot of people overlook. And the topic for this week is building a healthy financial mindset. So, Dope, why don't you kick it off?
Okay, and a healthy or a solid financial mindset that can set you on a path towards success and stability. And it's a combination of learning, investing, being proactive. And it's essential to understand it's not just about saving money, saving as much as you can. There's a lot more to it than that. And your thoughts and beliefs about money significantly impact how you live your life. Whether you're aware of it or not, your financial decisions are deeply rooted in your financial mindset, how you think. And it's your unique set of beliefs about money, your own, okay? How you feel about money. It drives your spending habits. It drives your patterns of behavior. It drives your emotions regarding money. It reflects your willingness to take risk, your attitude towards debt, and your affinity for saving and investing. It's how you totally think about money. And if you think about, like Bob and I often talk about, when we got started, we really didn't have a solid financial mindset, but we developed it over time, mostly by understanding where we wanted to end up and then figuring out a roadmap to help us get there. So when you think financial mindset, think about your overall thoughts about your financial situation.
Though, when it comes to mindset, which is a state of mind, a lot of financial people, successful people, they have a quality that stands out that is really in common, and that is the state of mind. Now, knowledge, which we try to give individuals, education, financial literacy, is important. But what is even more important before knowledge is your mindset and a healthy financial mindset. Because usually, your background really determines and influences a lot of decisions you make, not just financial decisions, but a lot of decisions. But but one way to establish, a good state of mind, it takes a bit of training, and it usually grows into a natural way of life. Now, simply put, you know, if you want it bad enough, you'll make it happen. Now, I was always told by this old guy, he said, man, there's three kinds of people in this world: people who watch what happened, people who make it happen, and people who don't know what the hell happened. I hope you're the one to make it happen. And you just have to have the right thought patterns. You got to show up, you got to put the work in, because success is earned, you all. You got to put the work in. And we talk about a lot of stuff and we make it sound easy sometimes, but it's all about effort. Now, it is very much like fitness or weight loss goal. Okay. With fitness or weight loss goal, you usually think consciously about it every day, don't you? You'll track what you ate, what you successfully avoided eating or drinking. And if you worked out, and you even track how long you worked, you even track how many steps you took that day. You begin to really focus on everyday details that add up to your routine. That's the same with financial goals. Financially successful people consciously think about their goals each and every day. They ask themselves every day what they spent, what they successfully avoided wasting money on, what they saved, and what was invested, and so on. So we want to get into this healthy financial mindset and the things that contribute. So, Dope, won't you kick it off with the four major contributing factors to a healthy financial mindset?
Yeah, and there's four things that basically contribute to your financial mindset, but they all don't always lead to positive results. Your personal experience and background is number one, and that's a lot of how you act with your money, okay, and what background you have, what knowledge you have, what understanding you have, your family circumstances, what you watch your parents do. A lot of times you tend to follow what you've seen before, and if you haven't seen good habits, you typically don't have good habits. Or if you've seen splurging, or if you've seen a lot of debt, that's a lot of times what you pick up. Your social circle, who you hang around and who you listen to. And that's what we always say, listen to people who make more money than you do, or who have more money than you do, or who have accomplished what you're trying to accomplish. By the same token, that could be negative if you're listening to the wrong people, or people who take a lot of risk, or people who don't really understand what they're doing and jump and make decisions that may not be good for them. And finally, your income level, obviously, how much money you make is going to play a role in that. And so if you had to work your way through college, you're going to have a different mindset to somebody who just had their schooling paid for. And how your parents looked at things could have an effect on how you handle it. And so we always say money's not everything. It might make it easier to be happy, but consider that carefully. But money is not everything. It doesn't buy happiness, but it does give you choices. And that's what we've always talked about. If you have money, you have choices. If you lose your job, you can take some time before you jump into something new. If you want to try something different, you can do that if you have money. And so, consider experiences, knowledge, and relationships that matter to you and give you a sense of fulfillment. And so that's really what's important. And so when it comes to improving your financial mindset or your financial health, it's critical. You've got to have a good foundation. It can impact whether you succeed or fail. Look at your beliefs, try to make positive changes, and you can't achieve your goals if you don't have the right mindset, if you're not thinking along the right lines. And it's two things to that. One, if you make poor decisions, and the other one is if you don't know the right decision to make. So there's some effort involved in getting the right financial mindset.
So, though, I want to just stop for a moment and talk about the traits of financially successful people who have a healthy financial mindset. Um, there's been studies that notice that those who are successful financially share common traits. And these are some, pretty simple common traits when you think about them. One of them is they enjoy saving money. Now, note how many people that they say they enjoy saving money. Reason why I think a lot of people I know don't say they enjoy saving money because they don't save money. But one of the traits of successful mindset of people is they enjoy saving money. The next one is they have incredible work ethics. I talked about that a minute ago about putting the work in. You earn success, and it's not easy. If it was easy, everybody be doing it. But if you can have the mindset to persevere, one thing for sure, we as people, we're sure enough resilient. But one of the common traits of financially successful people is they have incredible work ethics. Next one is they live non-lavish lifestyles. Now, how many people I know a bunch of people that, be living beyond their means and be complaining about not having enough money and, not, having a peace of mind because they got so many bills and so much debt. But most of the people, when you go and look at the bottom line, it was decisions they made, they were living outside of their means. So another common trait is, non-lavish lifestyles. In other words, living, within your means. And we're not talking about live like a pauper or you got to live like you're inside a phone booth. No, me and Dope never talk about trying to restrict people like that. But the mindset is you cannot be spending more than what you have. Now, the next one is are satisfied. The trait is that they're satisfied knowing they can have something rather than actually having it. Let me say that again, though. They satisfied knowing they can have whatever they want by not having to have it. That's what credit's supposed to be about, really, you all. It's not about using it. It's about having it available in case you need to use it. In case you have a big ticket item, in case your roof go down, in case your water heater go down, but not to be spending it, on clothes and on stuff. So when people have this mindset, they live lives without financial stress that others place on themselves through spendthrift habits. That's main common thread, though.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about how we get there. How do you build a healthy financial mindset? Well, first of all, it's a lifetime commitment. It's got to be the way you think. You know, you have to look at where you are and how you think, and then make changes to that if they're needed. You got to ingest your beliefs. You might have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And the most important thing is staying disciplined, doing what it takes to achieve your goal. So sit back and think about what is your financial personality, how you approach spending, saving, and investing money. That's dependent on that personality. So it reflects your traits and attitudes regarding money, whether you pay your bills on time, how comfortable you are with debt. That's an indication of the financial personal profile that you belong to. So, Bob, what are they? What are the 5 profiles?
Well, I'm gonna start with the first one, though. The first financial personality profile, and the reason why we bring this up, y'all, because it's very important to identify so you know what could be controlling you. You know what I'm saying? So my first one, though, is the big spenders. The big Willie style guys and gals who love to live life to the fullest. Their style, you know, connoisseurs always looking to make a statement. You know, if you're the first to purchase the latest gadget, they don't fear debt, and they have a big appetite for investment risks. And a lot of people likely belong to this group, though. I mean, I had a friend. He always want to top you off. If you said, man, I climbed Mount Everest, how much, man, I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. The big spender wants to show, But let me give you the tip about the big spenders. If you fall into that group, make efforts to reduce your purchase and increase your savings. Ensure your future purchases are justified. Like I said, live within your means. Take it off your cart if it won't be important to you in a year. And that's instant, though. If you putting something in, you're buying something, putting it in your purchase cart, how they do online. If it's not going to be important in a year, why are you spending money on it? That's my first personality trait, though. The big spenders.
Yeah, and the next one is the savers. Savers are frugal. They're not concerned about trends. They prefer to watch their money grow. They use credit sparingly. They stay away from debt. They don't take big risks when investing. Savers take their finances seriously and plan for their future meticulously. Now, if you are a saver, while planning for the future, make an effort to also live in the moment. You don't just want to save money and get to the point where you're just living to save money. So there's always a continuum, and you don't want to be on either end of being of spending all your money or saving all your money. And so don't let that stop you from enjoying life today. Take on bigger, well-informed investment risks to maximize your return, but not at the expense of living like a hermit.
Now, the next financial personality profile, dope, is the shoppers. Now, if I'm talking about you out there, raise your hand. Shoppers derive great satisfaction from spending money. They live for bargains. They always looking for, the discount sign. They buy things purely out of impulse and are more likely to go into debt because of it. Now, some shoppers take investing seriously, while others reserve the thought for distant futures. They don't think about investing. They just think about the things that they can buy, the bargains they can get. And don't, how many people we know get caught up with the hookup? I got the hookup. A lot of people get caught up with that. But I just want to say, if you're one of those people that are in that category of the shoppers, investing in a financial education is the best course of action for a shopper. You learn about saving, budgeting, investing. Avoid credit cards and make efforts to spend money, and you make efforts not to spend money on things you don't have. If you believe you make impulsive purchases to fill an emotional void, because a lot of people don't do that, especially in these times, when times are tight and debt is really leaning on them heavily. A lot of people seek, emotional relief by going out and purchasing stuff, to avoid, the situation at the end. And if you are that far in that you become, and there's a lot of impulsive buyers though, and people need to recognize if they are, because a lot more people are more impulsive than they think. And if you are, you really need to consider seeking um, mental help from professionals and address the root cause. But the first thing is to identify if you're one of those people that are impulsive buyer or one we call shoppers.
And that's why, again, that's why we're looking at these groups. You have to figure out where you are in these group of categories. Next, we have the debtors, which their name is pretty self-explanatory. They aren't necessarily interested in making fashion statements or following trends. They spend more than they earn and are in debt. They don't spend time thinking about managing their finances and investing for the future. Now, the tip is you should get a professional financial advisor to help you manage your finances and set up an investment plan. You must have a plan. And you need to do it immediately because most debtors are only one emergency away from total financial ruin. And not only that, if you are a total debtor and you need money in a tricky situation, and if you are your debt's already run up, you have basically nowhere to turn.
Yeah, that yeah, and I'm telling you, though, that debt, especially now, and that leads me right quick. That I want to take a sidebar because Garnett asked, and this falls in lines with the debt. She said, "What's up with all these Green Dot, Chime, and other build your credit cards?" Meaning, there's a lot, and I'm seeing a lot of it myself. And she's like wondering why we're seeing so much of it. And the reason why is because the times, Garnett. This is the times when people want to, you know, try to give relief or have, because a lot of people are with the prices and the cost of goods going all up. Believe it or not, a lot of people's credit is getting punished. And so this is when you start getting people offering these secured credit cards, and these are the times when they come out. That's my take on it, though.
Yeah, and I think it's just like there's a couple of analogies I think of. One is the zero APR for a specific period of time. The vendors are usually banking on people not meeting the requirements of that zero APR and eventually having to pay the 18 or 23 or 25% interest rate. It's just like when a company issues coupons or rebates. You never expect to have 100% compliance. So you expect to have people not take advantage of the discount or not mail in the form for the rebate. And so when a company, because when we did this, when we would issue a coupon or a rebate, we'd only anticipate a certain percentage of them actually being used. And I think it's the same thing with these credit cards. They seem like they're trying to help, but in the back of their minds, they know that most people who are in that kind of trouble stay in that kind of trouble and will continue to spend and will continue to incur very, very high interest rates. So I tend to think they aren't looking to help, but they're looking to take advantage. To me, that's like predatory lending.
Yeah.
Okay, but in the last group we're going to talk about are the investors. They have a deep understanding of their financial situation, actively put their money to work for them. Their primary financial goals is to live off the income provided by their passive investments. They carefully plan, make financial decisions regarding risk. And so if you belong to this category, keep doing what you're doing. Okay, great work. Continue educating yourself. Stay informed in order to stay ahead. Most people are 100% in any of these categories. Probably in different stages of your life, you might have been in each of those categories. I can honestly say I've been in each of those in my life. And that's one of the things Bob and I talked about is we didn't have the tools to learn when we first started that are available now. And so it was, we kind of had to learn the hard way. And so take a look at where you are. And again, you're probably pieces in each of those categories, but try to figure out to continue doing the positive things and eliminating the negative things in each of those categories if you are in that particular category. But again, most people aren't in one only. They probably phase in and out of each one. And our goal is to get you to understand, at least think about where you are, and then look at where you want to be, and then figure out a path how to get there.
So those are the 5 main personality profiles: the big spender, the saver, the shopper, the investors. Did I miss one? Yeah, the shoppers, the investors, the savers, the big spender,
The debtors.
and the debtors. That's it. Yeah. So, and remember, like we said, some of us include, I'm talking about include myself, we're not just in one personality trait. I was in about 2 or 3 of those, But the main thing is to identify it, you all, and know, and then address it so that you can have the proper mindset when you go forward to make your decisions. Now,
Hey, Bob,
yes,
before you go to that, and we realize it's not easy to do, and it does take a lot of work, just as any goal you want to accomplish, whether it's weight loss or getting in shape. It takes a lot of work and effort. And so does determining what your financial goals are, sticking to your plan, sticking to your goals. And so, but it's necessary. And what you have to look at is if you're not going to hire a trained professional to help you along the way, then there's a lot of work that you'll have to do for yourself as far as tracking your spending, understanding where your spending going, optimizing all the money situations that you can, understanding your taxes. And so it's you have to know yourself, be honest with yourself, lay out where you are, figure out how you need to get there, and then go from there. But it's not easy by any stretch of the imagination. But there's so much information out here that's available to you that can help you along the way.
And it's all a mindset. And one of the things we must be conscious of is to train yourself to live with less. That's one of the keys, you all. That's a key mindset we talked about a lot, but I hope you take this away and realize that, we get caught up in buying many things that we don't even actually need. And our children watch and learn this behavior as well. And what does this do? It usually sends a signal to them that they can too. And they would want to grow up wanting and needing a lot of stuff. Now, these kinds of things that pile up, the belongings, will only be thrown away when you retire as downsizing becomes, your priority. So these things that you accumulated, that's just stuff we don't need, will lead to the expense of one or more dumpsters needed in which to get rid of all that stuff. Some belongings also depreciate. So there's a large price for accumulation of stuff. Training yourself to bypass, the temptation, the desire of more stuff is a tremendous strength for your financial success?
Okay, so to sum it up, how do you create a financial mindset? Okay, you have to focus and look at where you are, reprogram yourself to be what you define. And that's kind of looking at your goals and saying, this is where I want to be. And most people don't approach their financial goals that way. They take a look at it at all, they might scare themselves away with the label of discipline, is that would take too much work, or it's too hard, or I don't understand. And that might, call this focus work, and instead turn away from their financial goals and just spend blindly for a while without worrying about the details of it. And their mindset is basically avoidance and fear. But if you want to be financially successful, you look straight at your financial goals, focus on what's necessary to help you get there, or at least go in that direction. And when you're focused on your future financial security, you can go on and add extra strength to your mindset. And that's it's funny how it starts reinforcing itself. And I guess that's where I was kind of lucky, in that as I started to save a lot of money, I got really happy seeing my funds grow. And that became, I think Bob referred to it earlier, being happy that you can buy something without having to buy it. But the other little joy you get is watching your net worth grow. I mean, that becomes a very positive feeling, and you start thinking about ways to make it grow faster, to make it continue to grow, to make sure it continues to grow. And that's when you start putting extra effort in it. And you got to realize, if you're not going to do the work yourself, you need to hire somebody to help you get on the right path. Otherwise, you'll be continuously going nowhere, as opposed to having a plan, figuring out how to get there, and then working towards that.
Hey, Dope, I like to open it up to the people out there who's listening. What is your mindset? What recommendations do y'all live by? What traits did you live by? What recommendations do you want to give people? Put it in the comment box. We like to know. Share with us from, you can share with us from YouTube or from Facebook Live. Put in there, what are some of the things that you like to share with people to help them, or how did you overcome some of these mindsets of being a shopper or a debtor? Put them in the box. We like to hear from you. Joanne Skinner says, "Don't let your words outdo your needs." That's a good one.
That's a real
Bonstein said, "Only buy what you need." No, that's some good stuff. Thank you.
Yeah,
For,
but people sometimes people get confused, and they needs become everything. I need to have that new pair of shoes. We always talk about people rewarding themselves with purchases, and you got to get to the point where your net worth number is a positive to you. It's a, obviously it's an asset, but it's got to be an asset that you appreciate and that you're willing to continue to work towards and see it grow more. Because that's the magical thing we always talk about. You grow wealth when you have time for that money to grow. And the more time you have, the more that money grows. But it's a real good feeling when you see your account constantly growing. But you have to have had a plan set in place to make that happen.
And Dope, it's all about a mindset. It's all about a state of mind. And Dope, have you heard of the term? It's a psychological term now in psychiatry called confirmation bias. Yeah. So now there's a term that people, it's called confirmation bias. And what it is you convince yourself to do something that you want to do. Let me give you an example. A person that's been struggling, with debt, but they go, I don't give a damn. I'm buying that Mercedes-Benz because I deserve it. I worked hard. I deserve it. I'm going to buy it. And it's called confirmation bias. This is another state of mind where we convince ourselves to do something that we wanted to do. And sometimes it's not the thing to do. So beware of that, you all, because a lot of times people, once again, to deal with stress by emotional and impulsive buying, excuse me. And I know personally people that tell me they go out to the malls and buy themselves something, but that's only temporary, you all, and it only is going to build up more and more debt. But we hope you share this, with your family. Modestine says, I still save monthly. And Modestine is retired from the FDIC. And I hear you, Modestine, because hey, as long as you're still living, you're gonna still need some money. Because a lot of people got more month they got more month at the end than money. So saving is very important.
Never
So
heard of it.
so don't let's bring it home. We said a lot, and as we always do, let's talk about the takeaways on today's subject. Okay, I'll take the first one, though. Summary from today's show. Understand your financial personality. There's many different traits, even more than the ones we said. But the key is to be aware of it, you all, so that you can do something about it. Not everything we face we can change, but you cannot change nothing unless you face it. Understand which trait you're in that causes you to make some of the decisions that you do. And once you understand that, and like we said, it could be several, you could be all five, or two or three, but it doesn't matter. The key is understanding you all so you can make the changes in your life that you need to.
And determine the path to your goal. We can't say this enough different ways. You have to figure out how to get to where you want to go. You have to know what it takes to do it, and you have to. If you don't have a plan, you don't have a chance. It's very, very unlikely that you'll hit your goals if you don't have a plan to get there.
And dope, nothing worth having is easy. If it is, everybody would have it. And that's where we always talk about having a plan, but working your plan. Planning your work and work your plan. We can't stress it enough, you all. It's not just about knowledge. And it sometimes just doesn't come down to your state of mind. It also comes down to your effort. Coach once told me, you know, talent that doesn't work hard beats no talent that does. Meaning it's all about the effort you put in, you all. So nothing worth having is easy. A lot of people don't get stressed out because of thinking about their financial situation, you all, but uh, overcome that, you all. And how you can overcome that is the more knowledge you get, the better you become at being able to address and work through it a little bit more easier.
Yeah, not knowing, that's not an excuse anymore. Bob and I often talk about how we learned a lot of things the hard way, but the resources available today are such that it's not an excuse not to know. You can find out, you can talk to people, you can ask people. People are always willing to help people who are trying to do positive things. So not knowing that's not an excuse. You need to find out the information you need in order to meet your goals.
It's just so much access to the information these days, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That can't be an excuse anymore. And though this is the final one. Whatever you are not changing, you are choosing. Let me say that again, though. Whatever you are not changing, you are choosing. And let me explain that to you all if you don't get it, because some people, boom, it'll probably hit you later on at night. You go, oh, God, that's what Bob was saying? If you're not changing, then you're choosing to be the same way. And what's the saying, though? if you keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, that's the definition of insanity. So
Yeah.
if you're not changing, you're choosing. You're literally choosing to be the way you are, and a lot of problems that you come across. And a lot of people want to blame other people, want to blame the man. But if you're not changing, and another way to put it, if you're not growing, though, you're dying. And I don't care how old you are. I don't care how old you are. You never stop growing. That's spiritually, financially, relationship wise, knowledge. It's all a state of mind, you all. And that's all we were trying to bring home today. I hope it didn't sound like were preaching, but we realized that we need to step off of, the stock market and investments and talk about insurance and credit. And let's talk about what's going on in people's minds. So thank you all for tuning in. We here every Thursday, 8 p.m., the FITT Show, financial information for today and tomorrow. I'm Bobby Kinzer.
I'm Thomas Doty.
And we're going to always be that. And we're there for you. Thank you for the comments. Thank you. Shout out, man. And, Garnett was here. And, Modestine. Modestine is here. Joanne, she's catching up with Garnett and Modestine. Joanne, be on this mug. My sister Nolia, my sister Linda, and good God Almighty, though, my sister Gloria. I mean, all three of my sisters are here every week supporting me, the little baby brother. So thank you all, and we look forward to seeing you next week. And remember, we can't say this enough. Whatever you're not changing, you are choosing. Good night, and may peace be with you.